Welcome to the comments section of the Past Your Prime podcast, first edition. We're just going to go over some of the recent comments that we've gotten. We've gotten quite a few comments over the last week or two, and so we just want to address them separately from the podcast.
Be too long to hit it at the end of the other one, so we want to make sure we give the amount of time that these comments deserve.
And we're still small enough to answer all of
them. Yeah.
So make the jobs a little and throw some comments in the section here in one of the episodes, and we'll get back to you. So the first one is from A. Elliott, 1978. It's a great year. And the question is, how tall? Preferably, I'd like to be 6'9". Craig is 5'6".
No, I am 5'11", which is pretty terrible.
That's on.
You're not 6 foot.
That's on the wrong.
No, I am 5'11". I will.
We'll have
you can't say 6 foot because then it gets embarrassing and people judge you. They look at you. They know. They see this shame in your eye that you're not actually 6 foot tall. Saying that when you're 5'11", so you take it seriously. I'm the only one of all my brothers are taller than me. They're all over 6 foot tall. I feel like my parents betrayed me. But anyway,
yeah. I am 6'3" on the roster.
You're 6'1"?
Probably 6'2.5" in real life, but
okay.
Every time I try to put 6'3" on the roster, everyone puts me out for it. And it's like, in shoes, I'm over 6'3". So
that's actually funny. So everyone does it, and it is embarrassing when you increase your height.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how tall? Not tall enough. Yeah, there we go.
Next comment is from Maggie Davis, 8377. Why don't you record in the gym? The gym is about 16 feet that way.
I think this room is a bit longer, but you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. It echoes.
And it echoes.
It echoes, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, we've got the good acoustics in here.
I do think her question probably is, why don't you record the exercise videos in the gym and have them in your podcast? Great suggestion. We'll start to...
We did it once. It was somewhat difficult and embarrassing. So.
Yeah, so we will start to do more of the recorded videos as we get better at this.
All right.
Yeah.
Next comment is from Green Terra 291. 5 months into a forearm injury, happened 4 months after going back to a commercial gym. Have the same mental glitch with machines. Time to go figure it out because Kaiser is taking their sweet time figuring this out.
It's a more complex comment.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I'll go a couple ways. So first off, forearm injury, it could either be indicating an injury at the elbow, medial lateral epicondylitis. You could also have a joint injury. You could also have an issue with how you're gripping. So there's a whole bunch of different things that we want to differentiate. So if you go back to our first episode or second episode where we talked about diagnostics, you'd want to understand what's actually causing your injury. Easiest one to figure out is if you are missing any motion. So if you compress your elbow joint like this and it hurts, your elbow joint's a piece of it. You can traction your elbow. If you're missing motion with extension, that'd be a similar problem. If you're actually hurting though when you grip, one of the easiest solutions is to use tools that make your grip less. So you can use like a wrist strap, which you'll often use most often you use the wrist strap on a bar when you're trying to lift really heavy because it takes your grip out of the equation. You can lift more with your lower extremity in your back. But you can also use that if you're having a gripping injury that's causing you to have more pain. So to me, if I were in your shoes, I would get it really well differentiated. But if you're finding the other issue is that people will overgrip. And overgripping by itself we could do a whole episode on, but when you're overgripping, it means that every time you grip it, if you grip your hand as hard as you can and you cause your forearm injury, try just to grip a little bit less next time.
Okay. Less gripping.
Less gripping.
Green Terra 291.
Thank you.
Next comment is from Deal Zer CJ. I have mid to lower back pain, but seems to hurt me more when I do not play as much volleyball during the week, which until I listened to this episode, I thought I was going crazy. Super excited to have a volleyball commenter.
That's our first one.
Yeah. You want to go into
yeah.
pain?
So that one's interesting because how did we say the name? Dalzer last stitch? The mid to low back pain piece is particularly interesting because there's a transition from your thoracic spine to your lumbar spine called your thoracolumbar junction. And the change in the spinal vertebrae architecture makes it predisposed to becoming injured. So if you're getting it at that level where it's not quite the low back and it's not quite your upper back, like mid back, it's right in between, you may have an injury there, which is actually quite common. The other piece that makes that a little bit more complicated is that at that level, it's really hard to stabilize it. So using like a lumbar brace does not work that well. Lumbar traction does not work that well. So we will often use a traction for the thoracic spine, which helps a lot. But this is also where foam roll on your thoracic spine can be very, very helpful. Very, very helpful because it will take load. We call it relative stiffness, but it'll take load off of that specific junction that might be driving some of your pain. So doing the thoracic foam rolling, especially on weeks where you can't play volleyball, I mean, because that's actually the other thing I was thinking is when they're playing, he's probably self-mobilizing when he's doing hits. When he's hitting the ball, he's probably getting...
I love the way you talk about volleyball.
Self-hits. Oh my gosh. I'm not a volleyball player.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Abundantly clear.
Pass the ball.
I'd also say that like adrenaline probably plays into it. I know that even when I was playing last week, it was like my wrist was hurting, but I didn't think about it much because I was kind of in the moment and competing and all of those things. So that could be why just when you're playing, you're warmed up, your body's feeling better, your tissue capacity is probably going up a little bit, and so it doesn't hurt as much. And that's probably important just to kind of stay active throughout the week.
Good. That's a great point, though. So you're getting an endorphin or an enkephalin response where it actually is blocking some of the pain signals from going up. So the only concern with that, though, would be you do what you did, which is you really go past what the tissue tolerance is and really hurt yourself because you've trained that system too well. So,
well, we talked about it in either the last episode or the one before that, but like your brain thinks that you're still at the same tissue capacity that you were pre-injury, and I clearly was not. So, all right, and then our final comment for this episode is from the Boss Kitties. Love that name.
The Boss Kitties. You thought it was...
I thought it was the Boss Skittles, but I can't read. I'm illiterate. So, but the Boss Kitty says, I'm past my prime warranty and expiration date. What should I do? Well, and we've been trying to contact you regarding your extended warranty, but we have not gotten a response. So if you'd like to extend your warranty, we're here to help.
We're here to help.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for your comments. Drop another comment below, and we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Thank you.
PastYourPrime.com.
BYP, baby.
Take care.